प्रभु जी धन्यवाद प्रणाम।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी।
हरे
हरे
कृष्ण
कृष्णा प्रभु जी and माता जी।
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी।
हरे कृष्णा माता जी। सो आशा करते हैं सब लोग बहुत अच्छे से होंगे। We pray and we hope that everyone is doing good.
Yes,
So
Prabhu.
After a long time, we are attending Prabhuji. After this yatra, we had a break up to 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
yeah, that's right. But it's good you attended today's morning program as well and physically, yes. So that's very nice. Okay, let's start with Mangla Charan. Today's passage is also very nice, and let's discuss and get into more into Krishna consciousness. Let's start with the Mangla Charan. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuda Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam साद्वैतम सावधूतम परिजना सहितम कृष्ण चैतन्य देवम श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान सहगना ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितं नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. So it was wonderful to meet all of you once again. So if possible, everyone can switch on their video so that we can have personal interaction. So thank you so much. So as Prabhuji mentioned about Narsimha Chaturdashi next week, so I would request everyone, you can plan to visit our Narsimha Girdhari parent temple. So there will be very nice program in our every ISKCON temple actually. So and wherever we have Narsimha deities, so there will be Abhishekam and lots of things. There will be drama. Sometimes there will be dance for the pleasure of Lord, and there will be very nice prasadam. So we can meet in the temple, right, next week. But till then, we can absorb ourselves in the Krishna Katha and Krishna Nam, Roop, Gun and Leela mein, right? We can just absorb ourselves. So just to start, let's start with our passage. We'll just read and then we'll discuss. So yeah, one by one, devotees can read.
I will start, Prabhuji. This is Santosh.
Yes, Prabhuji, please.
Yeah, so a passage for discussion. What should we eat? The laws of nature are very subtle and are very diligently administered, although people do not know it. In the Manu Samhita, concept of life for a life is sanctioned, and it is actually observed throughout the world. Similarly, there are other laws which state that one cannot even kill an ant without being responsible. Since we cannot create, we have no right to kill any living entity, and therefore man-made laws that distinguish between killing a man and killing an animal are imperfect.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Someone else can continue.
Yes, Prabhuji, I can do. Although there are imperfections in man-made laws, there cannot be defects in the laws of God. According to the laws of God, killing an animal is as punishable as killing a man. Those who draw distinctions between the two are concocting their own laws. Even in the Ten Commandments, it is prescribed, "Thou shalt not kill." This is a perfect law, but by discriminating and speculating, men distort it. I shall not kill man, but I shall kill animals. In this way, people cheat themselves and inflict suffering on themselves and others. In any case, however, God's law will not excuse such behavior. Everyone is God's creature, although in different bodies or dresses. God is considered the one supreme father. A father may have many children, and some may be intelligent and others not very intelligent. But if an intelligent son tells his father, "My brother is not very intelligent, let me kill him," will the father agree? Simply because one son is not very intelligent and the other desires to kill him to avoid the burden, the father will never agree. Similarly, if God is the supreme father, why should he sanction the killing of animals who are also his sons?
Thank you, Prabhuji. Mataji, want to continue?
Yes, Prabhuji, I will read.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Okay. Amritnath, you can read, then Vandana Mataji, you can read next.
Okay, Prabhuji. Yeah. In Bhagavad Gita, God declares to Arjuna that all I am there, seed giving father. The Lord says, just as in ordinary material procreation, the father gives the seed and the mother develops the body by supplying the necessary blood to the embryo. Similarly, the living entities, parts and parcel of the Supreme Father, are impregnated by the Lord in material nature. The dimension of the spirit soul is very minute and is given in the scriptures as kesagra, 1/10,000, the portion of the tip of a hair. We can hardly imagine a very small point and divided into thousands of parts. In other words, it is so minute that it cannot be perceived even by the most powerful microscope. Thus, the dimension of the spiritual spark is so minute that it is invisible to mundane vision. All of this information is given in the scriptures, but because we do not have the proper vision, we cannot see. Although our material eyes cannot perceive the dimension of the soul is nonetheless within the body, and as soon as it departs, it takes another body according to its work. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Yeah, Vandana Mataji, you can continue.
Spiritual life is not a question of vegetarianism, but of understanding higher knowledge. One who comes to the platform of elevated knowledge, he naturally becomes a vegetarian. Pandita Samadarshina, one who is very highly learned, doesn't distinguish between a learned scholar, a brahmana, an elephant, a dog, and a cow. He is Samadarshi. His vision enables to see them all equally. How is this? He doesn't see the body but the soul, the spiritual spark, Brahman. He thinks here is a dog, but it is also a living entity, although by his past karma he has become a dog. And his learned scholar is also a living spark, but he has taken good birth because of his past karma. When one comes to that position, he doesn't see the body, but the spiritual spark. And he doesn't distinguish between one living entity and another.
Thank you, Mataji. Amresh Prabhu or Harita Mataji, would like to read?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji.
Since everything is the property of the Supreme Lord, one can only enjoy what is allotted to him by the Lord and cannot touch another's property. According to the Vedic life and according to all Vedic scriptures, a man should live on fruits and vegetables for his teeth and made in such a way that they can be very easily eaten and digested. Although it is nature's law that one has to live by eating other living entities, Jivo Jivasya Jivanam, one must use discretion. Fruits, flowers, vegetables, rice, grain, milk are made for human beings. Milk, for example, is the animal product, the blood of an animal transformed, but the cow delivers more milk than is needed by her calf because milk is intended by for man. Man should one sec. Man should simply take the milk and let the cow live, and thus following nature's law. Man will be happy. Prabhuji, tena
Tena tattena bhunjita. Yes.
one should take whatever God allots to him and thus live comfortably. We have to elevate our consciousness through this science of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji. This passage was from Krishna Consciousness, the Matchless Gift. It's a very nice passage, right? Very nice learning. So everyone can share one point they like or that strikes their mind. What is that one point?
I
Then
will
we'll,
start probably. This
yes,
is
please.
Santosh. So I think in this passage, it's very clearly mentioned that in our all religious scriptures, it is very clearly mentioned that we cannot kill another living being, but the human has manipulated this for their own happiness, or they want to eat. Some people are interested to have non-veg food because maybe in their locality the vegetarian food is not available because of the weather condition, because of many other reasons. They cannot grow because the area is surrounded by sea or something like that, and that's the reason they are citing to put at the point that we cannot kill animals, we cannot kill humans, but we can kill animals, and maybe they are using it as a food. But what is mentioned and what is very clearly understood is without hurting anyone, if you are able to extract milk or extract any other food items, that is something which is permissible. But the killing of other living being because he is having less intelligence is a crime. And it's very nicely explained by the example that if a father has two sons and one of them is not so intelligent, other one is intelligent, so the intelligent one cannot kill the son which is not intelligent. Father will not allow, and same applies with our Supreme Court as well.
Yes, Ravi. Thank you so much. That was wonderful example, right? About father and son. So Krishna is Supreme Father, right, of all.
Yes.
And how can we kill our brother, right?
Yes.
Because, so yeah, thank you so much, Prabhu. Very nice. Any other point anybody would like to share?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I'll just add one. So basically, we have come across a new word which is Samadarshi. So it means it's a good quality being in Krishna consciousness, that we need to have an equal vision again with other living entities, be it a dog, be it a cat, be it an ant, be it a human being, or even up to the level of Brahma. We should know that we are parts and parcels of Lord, and we should have that Samadarshini bhav to other living entities. That is the humble sage would do. So we should aspire for that. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Palita.
Prabhuji, I like the example of given here, like father and two sons. So really touched, and how a father cannot allow any other son to kill another son just because of he's not so intelligent. Like Prabhuji also mentioned, like one is man and another one is uh, any other animal. They're also part and parcels, and so I think in the last passage we have seen that everything is the property of Supreme Lord, and like cow is also giving extra milk. What is required by a calf. So extra milk we should take. But yeah, we should accept it. What Lord has allotted to us naturally. So, but yeah, uh, those passages are very nice, and really touched. So
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji. Mataji, you want to share something? Anna Mataji? One
Nothing.
point you like the most, or what is that thing that strikes your mind?
Like we should not kill other like living entities.
Yeah.
Like killing of animal is same like killing of man.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you, Mataji. So, in the beginning, it was given, I think, the God's law and man-made law. So, what is the difference and what is the similarity, or what, I mean, how it is different actually from man-made law and the God's law? Any answer? Yes. Rita Mataji?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji.
Laws of the gods say that we are not the creator, so we have no right to kill other living entities. Yet the laws of man say that it's okay to kill the animals. That's which is imperfect, Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji. So, as we were discussing the same thing, killing of animal and killing of human is same, right? Thou shall not kill. It is given in the Bible also, right? But we are seeing so many slaughterhouse is running, and in the Western, those who are following the Christianity also, they are not following this even first commandment itself. Thou shall not kill very nicely, right? So Prabhupada is saying this is very nice that I mean, whenever like Prabhupada's argument or Prabhupada's explanation is very nice, that he is not asking everyone to just follow the Hinduism, but he's saying many people were asking. I mean, like, why you're asking for chant Krishna's name, or why if we can't do this whatever we are doing, like Christianity or whatever religion we are following. So he's saying whatever you are doing, you do it nicely or perfectly, correctly, whatever it is saying. Even like Jesus is saying, "Thou shalt not kill," but you're killing. Then where are you? Where is your? I mean, like this, that you're following it. You're not following only. So that's what his argument, and he's explaining, and very rigidly and very nicely he's putting this point that whatever is given, at least follow it nicely. Then only you will be. You can say there yourself that you are following at least Christianity or following some religion, right? Otherwise, you're not following only. So, uh, so just move forward, and we'll just understand. Yeah, there is one, I think, is given in this about the soul, right? What is the size of that soul is given, I think, in that, right? So it's our hair's tip, right? 1/10,000, 1/10,000 of that size is our soul is, right? It's 1/10,000 of the tip of the hair, right? Keshagra. So means kesh means our hair, right? So keshagra. So it is made from that. So it's very minute. So we can't say that these even microorganism, those we can't see also, they are also living entity, and even in them also we have, we can say that soul is present, right? So so similarly, even our plants, right? Plants also have soul, right? They are also living entity. They are also feeling. So why? I mean, it is mentioned that we can have vegetarian food, or how we should understand that how we can consume vegetarian food also, because we are killing animal. Yeah, we understood that. Yeah, killing animal is a crime, right? But uh, even in plants also, by scientific method also, we know that they have life. They have also, so they are also living entities. So how we can say, or how we can give justification that vegetarian is good, or we can have a vegetarian diet? Any thoughts on that? Yes,
Hare
Santosh
Krishna
Prabhu.
Prabhuji.
Yes, ma'am.
Santosh
Yes.
Prabhuji, you want to go first?
You can continue, Prabhuji.
Okay. Yes, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So, in terms of vegetarian Prabhuji, what I understand is, let's say, for example, of a plant or a tree, like who is giving us fruits and all. So, if, for example, if we don't take fruits, we know that it will be rotten. And sometimes what happens is, we see the mango tree is there, and when something is, uh, what I would say. Uh, when it has totally ripe, like it will drop it on the ground. So tree also drop the fruit to the on the ground, but nowadays we see that think a lot of people are cutting the trees, or maybe cutting those mangoes, and then making it ripen. But yeah, tree also drop the fruits when it is totally ripe, naturally. So I mean, from there I just connect this to today's passage, like we should accept what God has allotted to us. So allotment, whatever is there, it will come to you naturally. So whether it's a leaf or anything, uh, it will come to you naturally. That's it, Prabhu.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. Yes, Santosh Prabhu, you want to share something?
So I think it's very clearly mentioned, like whatever we are eating as our diet, it is going to impact the way we think, the way we behave, and the way we again create or manipulate our thoughts. And whatever we are contemplating after having this type of food, it's definitely going to impact the quality of the results what we get. So if we are having a vegetarian and a sattvic diet, and we are doing some meditation or some japa or some puja, then the results may vary compared to what a person who is having a non-vegetarian food, and then he is not having a pure mind, he's having sin in his mind, and then he will not be able to focus, concentrate, and then it is going to impact whatever results he's trying to achieve. So it's very important that what we are trying to keep in our diet should be allotted, and it should be in the limited quantity. Anything which is in excess will definitely cause health hazards and digestion indigestions and a lot of other things to our body, and it will not suit for a longer duration.
Okay, Prabhu. Thanks for sharing your thoughts. So yeah, I mean, this is good. Yeah, Haritamati, you want to say something?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. It's
Yes.
like as per the law of nature, whatever we're getting it naturally, we can have it, Prabhu, not by killing something. So all the fruits, vegetables are like God's gift, like we are getting it naturally. So we can have it. That's my opinion.
Okay. So I mean, one thought, one question basically. So these you had and then spinach, palak. Right?
Yes, Prabhu.
You're uprooting it, right? Full from the root. What
Yes.
will you say for that? Are we not taking life of that spinach? I
Yeah.
mean, it's not giving automatically. It's not. There is no such thing that it's automatically. It will dry only, right? But it won't come out from the soil. So is it good, or is it bad to have spinach, or the I mean, like coriander or other things like leafy vegetables basically? Right?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's good to have, but because everybody has to leave, so one has to take the help of others, Prabhuji, like and
Yeah, it is mentioned jivas. What is that? Jivo jivasya jivanam, right? Yeah. So that is there, the food chain. We have studied in the science food chain, right?
Yes.
One entity is one living entity is eating other. But uh, any other thought? Yeah, Santosh, you want to say something about spinach?
Yeah, I think there is a difference between a living being and a plant, because I think if we are not consuming it on the right time, it is going to further stop growing and decay after some time. So the purpose of the nature and the God, he has created this vegetarian fruits or vegetables is for consumptions of human, because it's not actually killing any other living entity, and the human is able to survive by eating this food in all the locations where they have land where they can cultivate, or naturally wherever these fruits are growing. So plucking it and eating it is not a crime, because we are not killing anything. It is different from living entity and between a plant. So plant is actually being made for our consumption.
Okay. So, I mean, plants, you're
Basically, there
saying.
is no bloodshed, Prabhuji. Oh, that's it.
Okay. So plants, they don't have blood. That doesn't mean they don't have life, right? They have life, but and some plants, that gum, right?
Yeah. Come.
Basically rubber plant, or
Yeah.
even I think
Banyan tree, yeah.
banyan tree also, right? They are giving some kind of liquid, right? That we can consider as their tears. No, if we are plucking the one leaf also, from that leaf where it touched, right? Some milk is coming, right?
Yes. Yes.
Maybe
Prabhuji.
not red color, but white color. So we also know that we have WBC and RBC, right? Red and white, both blood cells.
Yes.
So
Yes.
they also would have white, which we are not seeing as a blood or something. But so yeah, it's there, right? We have to understand that even if we are vegetarian, we are also doing crime. We are killing animal, or we are killing plant. We are committing sin, right? This, like many vegetarians are saying that I am not killing animal, I am very good. But still, as we have discussed, that microorganisms also have life. We are taking, inhaling and exhaling, right? So even in this process itself, we are killing so many micro. So every time, every steps, we are committing sin. We should not think that we are बहुत अच्छे हैं भैया हम लोग हैं, we are pious and we are not doing any paap or nothing, right? So this is what is even when uh, okay, that I'll explain later. So we came to hear that yeah, vegetarianism is good, or being vegetarian is good, but that is also not sufficient, right? That is not sufficient. So what is that? Why and how we can understand it? So let's read from Bhagavad Gita what Krishna is saying, right? 9.26. Anybody remember this shloka? You would have heard this shloka many times, I think. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tad aham bhakti uphartam ashnami priyatatmana. Anyone can read the translation?
Yes, Prabhuji. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, I will accept it.
Yes. So purport is very elaborately Prabhupada explained, but I will not read. You can read from here on. We'll see if you can touch few points, but yeah. So this is what Bhagavad Gita is saying. What Patram Pushpam Phalam Tam. Bhagavan, Lord Krishna himself is saying what he accepts. So he accepts a leaf, a flower, fruit or water or milk, right? Toyam means any liquid. So here Prabhupada was explaining that even if, so here Lord is saying, right, directly Lord is saying what he will accept, and how he will accept: with love and devotion. If we are offering with love and devotion all these things, he will accept. So Prabhupada generally says, if he would have said here that he will eat fish, meat or something, we will offer, and we will also would have taken, but he is not mentioned. So simple. We are following Krishna's words. Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, and whatever he accepts, we are just offering to him, and for his pleasure, right? So whatever he is saying only vegetarian things, what he can accept. So that's what we are accepting. We are offering him, and as a prasad, we are just accepting that. So this is what the science of Krishna consciousness, that we should understand that being vegetarian and vegetarianism is not sufficient. We should be Krishnatarian, right? What is Krishnatarian? So Krishnatarian means whatever Krishna eats, whatever Krishna take as our offering, whatever he will accept, and whatever he will left for us as a prasadam, we'll just take it as a for our food, as a food, or for our living, right? So so it's very simple, right? We are all following the Krishna Bhagavad Gita, right? Srimad Bhagavatam, Vedic life. So we can definitely be convinced for this, right? So definitely we all are convinced that non-vegetarian is bad, but for being vegetarian is also not good. So what to do, right? That we should understand. And this is very much practical here, right? We should offer food to the Lord. And what he is accepting, he is already said. Patram pushpam phalam toya, right? So these things we can offer to him, and we can have it. So this is what very practical that we can implement in our life also, that we should, whatever we are taking it from market, vegetarian, we should also we should offer first to the Lord, and then as a prasad we should take it, right? So any thoughts, anything, any question or comments at this point?
Yeah, Prabhuji, this we had heard this concept in the yatra, where it was said that the remnants of the food which is tested by Krishna himself is supposed to be taken by us. So, like any prasad, Lord test it, and then we are taking. Then we are not getting the sin of killing the vegetarian category. I mean, like you said, spinach, right? So, if even if we are taking that, we are not getting the sin of that sin for that.
Yes, Prabhu. So whatever Krishna accepts, and then as a prasad we are taking, then we are not sinful. And on the other hand, on 3:13, I think Krishna already said this also, that let me open that. So, yeah. So here, somebody would like to read translation only.
Yes, Prabhu. The devotees of the Lord are released from all kind of sins because they eat food which is offered first for the sacrifice. Others who prepare food for personal sense enjoyment verily eat only sin.
Yeah. Very clearly, Lord is saying in Bhagavad Gita, 3rd chapter. We have started 3rd chapter, right, in our shloka idea. So this will come 13th shloka, and very nice understanding here it is given. We should understand this, that if we are offering, we have just seen that we should offer. And if we are offering to the Lord and then eating, we are not committing any sin. We are not responsible. But if we are preparing for our sense enjoyment, even if we are not offering, it means we are just having for our sense enjoyment or for our sustenance, right? So that is also a sin. Either it is vegetarian or non-vegetarian. So till now we were doing so many sins, but now from today at least we understood that we should offer food to the Lord, and then we should have it. So that is very much practical, right? And very much practical tip for today. So we should try to offer and then have it. So I would, any other thoughts, or I would hand over to Kundal Prabhu to share the summary. I'll just share and you can summarize the full passage. There is one more point, Isha Vashyam Idam Sarvam. So I think Prabhuji will cover. So I just, yes, Puneet Prabhu, you want to say something? Amrish Prabhu, you also say something in Hindi also, it's fine. Amrish Prabhu ji, Dr. Amrish Prabhu ji.
हाँ प्रभु जी, यस प्रभु जी।
कैसा लगा प्रभु जी आज का सेशन? क्या कुछ
बहुत बढ़िया लगा, आपने जो एक्सप्लेन किया प्रभु, बहुत ही अच्छा। पत्रम पुष्पम जो है त्वयं फलम, कि बेसिकली वेजिटेरियन और कृष्णटेरियन में क्या डिफरेंस है, बहुत ही काइंड, बहुत अच्छी तरीके से एक्सप्लेन किया प्रभु जी।
थैंक यू प्रभु जी। any other thoughts or any other points आपको जो अच्छा लगा कुछ या कुछ आप शेयर करना चाहते हैं? जी
प्रभु जी, पैसेज ही बहुत बढ़िया था। बेसिकली वेजिटेरियन और इसमें जो है जो आपके नॉन वेजिटेरियन क्या डिफरेंस है, देन वेजिटेरियन इज नॉट इनफ, इसके लिए हमें जो है कृष्णटेरियन होना चाहिए, क्योंकि उसमें भी लिविंग एंटिटीज जो हम लेते हैं फूड्स वेजिटेरियन में वो भी रहता है। फिर समदर्शी के समदर्शी का मीन सबको हम जो है स्पार्किंग सॉल की तरह ही करना है, नॉट एज अ बॉडी ट्रीट करना है। आज काफी अनटेकिंग जो है की टेक अवे है, बहुत ही अच्छा सेशन रहा।
थैंक यू प्रभु जी। तो अमरीश प्रभु आप शेयर कीजिएगा मेन सेशन में आज जो सुधीर गोपाल प्रभु पूछते हैं ना कॉमन सेशन में।
ओके,
हाँ पुनीत प्रभु आप कुछ बोल रहे हैं? माता जी।
Krishna Prabhuji. So Prabhuji, I was reading the passage and one thing came up, like although it is nature's law that one has to live by eating other living entities, jivo jivasya jivanam, one must use discretion. So
Yes.
Prabhuji, I want to understand what is this one must use discretion. So what is the meaning of discretion here?
Yes, Prabhu.
I mean, we have to do something.
Yeah, yes, Prabhu. So anybody would like to say something on this point, or should I continue? So that's because I wanted to cover this, but I forgot. When Santosh Prabhu was mentioning about plants, right? We can eat plants, and I mean, many of you, Harita Mataji, are also saying that, yeah, because it's all, there is some difference between animal and human, plants. So what is that difference? The difference of consciousness, right? So this is what discrimination, Prabhu. We should discriminate with the consciousness. So and plants are having very low consciousness. So there it is said that because they have very low consciousness, we can survive on them. So it's like one level up only. We should only survive to only, bare minimum thing. So, those who has very low consciousness, if we are eating that and if we are getting all our nutritions, all our requirements, so we should have that much, not above that. So after that, animals, or even in animals, there are many categories, reptiles and other things, right? So like that, we can say that this is what discrimination with the consciousness. They have slowly higher consciousness ki taraf they are going, right? So human has very high consciousness, but that doesn't mean कि जो human का सबसे high consciousness है, he can eat all the lower consciousness. He should have some discrimination. But discrimination means lowest, जिसका सबसे ज़्यादा low consciousness है, we should try to consume that and not. And this jivo jivasya jivanam is applicable like for all the living entities, but like similarly that like deer and all is having only grass and other things, right? And then we can say lions, they are eating the deer. So this is what food chain, what we have learned, but it doesn't mean ki human is coming up, so he can eat lion also and deer also and this, right? So that is what he given, right? Discrimination should be based on the consciousness. So thank you, Prabhuji, for reminding this. I just forgot this. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Prabhuji, to add to this, I heard from something like how a human being is having a better consciousness because he's able to discriminate, like this is a plant and this is an animal. If he's able to get rid of eating or killing animals, then he comes to the human platform. If he's not able to discriminate this with his consciousness, that he can eat animal, then still he is considered as an animal, not as an human being.
Yes, yes, true. That's what इंटेलिजेंस कम्स लाइक इंटेलिजेंस जो है हम लोगों का ह्यूमंस को इंटेलिजेंस दिया है तो इंटेलिजेंस वी शुड यूज एंड दैट इज व्हाट मींस making us different from the animal. Otherwise animals are also doing right four things what we are also doing. What is that? We are also eating, sleeping, eating, defending, right? So all the four things animals are also doing, we are also doing. But what is the difference between animal and human? This is what the discrimination power, the intelligence power. So with that, we should use that. Then only it will be. Then only we will call be human. Being human, लिखने से human नहीं बन जाते. We have to follow this also, right? So, any other thoughts? Any other points? You have to act like human. Yes. Yes, Kantar Prabhu, you would like to summarize? I'll just
Yes,
share.
Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. Should I share, Prabhuji? If is
Yes, Prabhu, I'm sharing. You are able to see?
it's coming through, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, I can see it now. Hare Krishna. So basically, in the passage which we have learned, man-made laws against the supreme God's laws. So basically, we are imperfect, and hence we distinguish between the man and animal, and hence we try to extract benefits out of them. So basically, laws of nature are very subtle, and they are perfect in nature because those are administered, and those are coming from the Supreme Lord. In Srimad Bhagavatam 10.14, it is clearly mentioned that if one kills an animal, one must be killed by the same animal in next birth. This is called as mamsa. Mam means me and sa means he. So if I'm eating an animal, the animal have an equal opportunity to eat me in the upcoming life. So that was one of the learnings. Another one is like we understood, even Punit Prabhuji, Santosh Prabhuji had mentioned it. Lord, Supreme Lord is our supreme seed-giving father, and he is the supreme proprietor of all. So basically in Bhagavad Gita 14.4, it is mentioned that Krishna himself declares that it should be understood that within all species, all of them, the birth which is given is through his seed. He is the seed-giving father. Even in Ishopanishad, which is a part of the Yajurveda, verse 1, it talks about Krishna is the supreme proprietor of all. It means that everything which is animate and inanimate, like a living entity, it's called as animate, and material or non-living entity is called as the inanimate. All the forms which are existing here in this material world, he is the supreme proprietor of all. So basically, he is also known as Jagannath, right? The Lord of Universe. So everything belongs to him. So all we need to do is like have a Samadarshini bhav. We'll look everyone with the equal vision that those are parts and parcels, soul of Lord, that is son of Lord Krishna. So basically, that's the true knowledge, and we don't distinguish or forms a division because of different souls are having different bodies or forms. We also learned the dimension of the soul, which is 1,000th tip or the portion of that hair. Even it could be, it is applicable for like supreme, like a soul like a Brahmaji, who is elevated, the first living entity in this material world, or to a small ant. All of them are having the same soul dimension. Then later on, we have learned about what Krishna accepts it. He accepts, he has clearly defined it. Anything which is given to him with love and devotion and is with a leaf or which is the leaf, flower or fruit, or water, he will accept it. So what exactly Krishna wants? Krishna wants our loving service, nothing more. He accepts whatever is offered to him with a love and devotion, and what is permissible for us to be eaten as a human being. Like we talked about discretionary power, which is the discretion is made on basis of knowledge, and knowledge is guided by the Shastras. So here Krishna is mentioned that he accepts leaf, flower, fruits and water, which also includes rice, grain and milk, that what we can have, and it is allotted to us, and we can have it, but by offering it to Krishna. Because after offering it to Krishna, it becomes prasadam. That's the mercy of Lord. If we directly have it, being a vegetarian, we should not be proud of it. We need to transcend that particular position, and we need to be a Krishnatarian, as Prabhuji mentioned. So basically, we need to accept whatever is offered to Lord as a remnants, and then we can have it. So it is free from sin, and it is the mercy of Lord. So yes, Prabhuji, that was some as the substance of it.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So I think Prabhuji has already called for a common room. So we won't get time for discussion Bhagavad Gita. So Amrish Prabhu, you would like to share?
Sure, Prabhuji. Sure, Prabhuji.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay.
So hope we got very much practical tip today. So from today, we'll offer to the Lord, and then we will eat, right? So that will be prashadam. And we'll tell about the offering mantras and other things. So that will be more precise and more nice to offer with Lord.
Hare Krishna. Hare Bol. Thank you very much for again. So I saw some wonderful conversations in all the groups, and I really liked the most in our Radha Govind group. There was a very nice debate happening there. You know, what is the right way of eating? Because I know that, especially maybe when all of us brought in a certain way, culturally and from the family perspective, we have our own biases. I know there are some devotees here, who are from birth, right? They have been brought in a certain way, and there are some, right, who are really, coming up in a certain way, and it's very difficult to break that. And we have our own preconceptions. We have our own peer pressure in terms of our family members, friends. Very difficult to do it. And I had expected that this would be much more stormier. But still would like to hear from you once again, some thoughts. Why? I'm asking why we should be vegetarian. Then I'll talk about why we should be prasadatarian or Krishnatarian. First of all, why vegetarian? Who has the strongest view on this? We have some who are really saying that yes, we should continue as we have been doing. Okay, please. Be very brief, just in a couple of sentences, because we have a lot to hear.
Our teeth are made in that way, and then it is very good for digestion also. The food gets digested without.
Okay, let's focus on this one point, right? We have some doctors here as well, right? From the body perspective, right? From the psychological perspective, from the anatomical perspective, from the digestive perspective, and people talk about, right, even like the cancer causing, right? There is much more this, right? The carcinogenic effect are there more, right, in the animal products than in the vegetarian products, right? This is the proven science, right? That's one call. Like, let's talk about the science. Let's talk about from the body perspective, right? What are the other reasons? Let's talk from the our body perspective. What's good for our health? From our health perspective, is it good to have vegetarian food or non-vegetarian food?
Vegetarian food.
Why we should have, like, okay, why we should have vegetarian food from our health perspective? Because somebody might think that, oh, non-veg people, they have big muscles. they are very strong, and the West people, they are always very weak. Is it true? Is it
Prabhuji,
true?
I wanted to answer this. This is Santosh.
Yes, bro.
So I think why we should have only veg food and not non-veg food is a very simple example. Is I think in most of the so-called developed countries, we have seen that most of the people are having non-veg food, and the most products, in terms of the medical medicine products which are sold there are vitamin D, vitamin B12, and there is scientific claims that because they don't have less sunlight, they need to have this food to keep their bones strong, keep their immunity system strong, keep their body free of cancer and other things. But we see that majority of problems which are getting created and these diseases are coming because of their food habits, because the human body and the digestive system is mostly designed for a vegetarian diet, and we can see this resemblance in the other vegetarian living animals and some entities. And it is very easy for us to digest anything which is vegetarian compared to what is non-vegetarian. And this food, the non-veg food, if somebody is consuming it goes into the intestine, and it takes a lot of time to get churned out to different levels of our intestine. And sometimes this is causing a lot of other health issues which are incurable. I think recently there was an incident in Kerala where a girl, she died because there was some bacteria in the non-veg food, and that the body could not adapt or react or kill that bacteria, and that caused the death of that person. So
Thank you,
it is
Santosh bro. Right, like as you mentioned, like once we really talk about like in the very beginning days of our school, right? Like we talk about carnivore, herbivores, right? And but where is human, right? Right, and as you will see from the many more this anatomical perspective of our body, right? Where does we stand out, right? Like from the teeth shape and size perspective of our incisor teeth or molar teeth, or our facial muscles, or from the saliva perspective, how like in our hematomathy talked about that from the digestion perspective or our intestine, right? Because the more it stays, the more it putrid it becomes, and more toxic it becomes, right? Or the right, or the pesticides on nails, everything, right? How there's a lot of research done uh, where exactly we are tend to be, what we are meant to be, right? Though yes, people talk about so many reasons that okay, we take this or that, but if you just do a quick analysis here, right, we'll very clearly see that our body is meant for a herbivores, right? For eating the like non-animal foods. That is really good for us to have a healthy body, right? And then somebody might say that, oh, how about to get a good muscles, right? And you want to know, right? Even the uh, famous, right? Even the boxers or famous heavy lifters, right? Like I'm not sure if you have heard of them, how they are even the vegetarians, like just to give you a couple of examples, right? Like so like maybe I have a big presentation, big seminar out of it, right? Like we talk about this Mr. Universe with a big six packs and so on, right? How they are vegetarians, right? Or you talk about our famous cricketers like either Dravid Kumble or Mr. Kohli, right? So many even Indian players, right? How they are vegetarians, right? And somebody talked about even staying in the cold countries, right? Like personally, I was there in Finland, Nordic countries, for 6 months, right? Yes, a lot of my friends, they give that excuse, how will you survive in this cold countries, -25, and just take a little vodka or take some, like this meat, right? Definitely, right? We can really release ourselves, whatever, the prasad we are taking, we don't need anything else, right? It's just a once again, man ki behem hai, right? Like like it's really up to our will, up to our choice, right? And then right, all the environment will really follow it. Okay, so I think we talked about from our health perspective, and then somebody might say that Or any other questions, like from health perspective, is there a veg or non-veg? Is there any shock or any little bit of iota of doubt that like from our health perspective, right, non-veg is good? Anybody has concern or any doubt here? Because everybody wants to spend millions of dollars, not now, at least during the old days, we know that how painful it is.
Prabhuji, actually, people say, because I come from Western country, you know that I've come from UK. I came from UK. I was there in UK for past 6 months. So actually, what the people there they say, yeah, because the vegetarian vegetables which is available there, it's very less compared to India. So that is why they are more adaptable to that non-veg, because it is really available. So chicken, whatever it is, I don't know, that all those things they eat, because they say we are all, because wherever we go, it is freely available. But what about the vegetarian food? Only one or two. Where you take a sandwich, if you go outside somewhere, only the sandwich is available. That too sandwich, we have to see whether it is all vegetable food or not. Other, you see the varieties of non-veg, it is from this end to that.
Understood, Mataji. Like, like it, once again, the consumer drives, right, the need, right? If everybody really looking forward to vegetarian, you'll get, like, yes, the first time I had gone to Germany, it was in 2001, right? To find some vegetarian, like, I had to search for so many places. But then, right, nowadays, if you go, right, you go to any cities of the world, definitely, of course, you'll find a ISKCON temple where you can have nice prasadam. Otherwise, also, right, there are a lot of veg restaurants, Indian restaurants as well, right? And they thank you, the Kuntal Prabhu, right, for bringing that nice statistics, right? Like, people talk about that, okay, like, freely available all the non-veg foods and things like that. But the amount of effort that is required to produce, right, non-veg food versus the vegetarian food, right? Like, if you see here, right, if 1 acre of land can be used to produce 40,000 of potatoes, like this is, once again, US statistics, right? And which will really, or, you can get 250 pounds of beef, right? Either choice, right? So if people talk about the, no, for the poverty, for the poor people, it's easier, more economical is for vegetarian food. It is much more available, right? Like all the greedy and all the capitalist people, they are really exploring. If everybody is really using vegetarian food, they say that, the whole land can feed 6 times of the population of, current universe that we have. Right? So it's not also that, like, okay, like, we cannot afford vegetarian food, or, this non-veg food is available to everybody and it's cheap and all that. And thanks to our Kuntal Prabhu, he has put some nice, yes, like 25 gallons of water to produce 1 gallon of wheat. But then to produce 1 gallon of meat, you require 2,500 gallons of water, right? From the ecological perspective as well, how it is very important, right? To really be vegetarian. Yeah. Okay, any other thoughts? Like we talked about scientific perspective, ecological perspective, and then right, there are so many other ways, right, we can discuss. But one more very which is really, you can, anybody, like, can you take your children, right, to a slaughterhouse? Is it possible? Can anyone take, or would you really prefer your children to take some farm where they are growing nice, trees and shrubs? Would you really like to kill someone, right, to satisfy the taste bud of yours? Yes, personally, even I was a non-vegetarian, to be honest.
Prabhuji, I'm from birth vegetarian only, so I don't like going to a slaughterhouse, nor I will go to. I'll take my children to that place.
Yeah, like what I'm trying to say is that yes, because somehow or other, right, like, yes, we have been grown up in a atmosphere of ignorance, atmosphere of darkness, right? But then once we understand, right, all the cruelty that is happening, right, understand the all the pitfalls, of this non-vegetarian food, right? And then, right, like as a child, yes, we make mistakes, right? We fall down, right? But then, right, once you know that, okay, this is the wrong path, right? As an intelligent person, right, some point of time we have to pray to the Lord and shift it in the right direction.
But how did you stop, Prabhuji, from that? How did you stop from non-veg and you came
Yes,
to veg?
thanks to the devotees. Somebody really preached us like this. Somebody really walked us like this, and it's not that, okay, like, you stop, like, okay, if you're taking thrice a week, you stop and start taking once in a week, you start really disgusting, right? Like, oh, like, am I really going to, satisfy my taste bud, by killing somebody? And then you really feel, right, the compassion within. But no, I don't want to create a mortuary. I don't want to create a place where I want to keep all the dead animals within my body. And then, yes,
You
if
sent
there is
one
a family, we
link.
decided.
Yeah.
And I know there are a lot of problems like our aunt, they are born vegetarian, or our Sahapro, Sushma Mati, a lot of you, like especially of South India, they're very pious. At least they take vegetarian and sattvic food. But especially as our some of the devotees said, we are from East India, like everything is vegetarian.
I think one easy way, Prabhuji, would be to take all those non-veg eaters to slaughterhouses and let them see what is happening. So then they may, sometimes they just eat what is served to them. If they actually see what is happening there, they might develop an aversion towards that meat.
You can see, right?
That is one way.
Yes. Like you can see the love, right? The love between the mother and the child, of even animals. They have so much of emotions, isn't it? Can we really take them away to just fulfill the test buds of our tongue? Anantro, you wanted to say?
Yeah, I just wanted to add one thing, Prabhu. Just on the point on health, there is one doctor from US. Her name is Dr. Brooke. She's in the board of USDA. She's very recognized, very accomplished. She shares her personal experience of how she turned. Actually, she's turned vegan, but she tells how many problems she had, and she's become an advocate for vegetarianism completely. And she talks about her personal experience in that small 2-minute video. If people get the time, they can actually watch it. It's a very insightful.
Yes, right. As we said, there are many more reasons, right? Like just from the health perspective, right, or from the ecological perspective, like people talk about the world hunger, right? Like how like this, right? 16 kg of grain maybe can really feed 20 people, but 1 kg can really feed 2 people, right? And how that 16 kg really goes into that producing 1 kg of beef, right? Yes, once we really think of not only for ourselves but for the society, like we say so many things, right? And definitely, as I think Gita Mataji said, we cannot see the cruelty. Or somebody might say that, oh, in poultry, right? Oh, the egg comes. Why egg is considered even not to be taken, right? But you see the cruelty that is there in the poultry farms. How the all the hens and all, they are kept in that, and how the small chicks, the male chicks, they get slaughtered. The kind of hellish life they create in that poultry farm. Can you really think of that?
Prabhuji, here I want to say, here I want to just add that to refrain from eating non-veg or onion and garlic, that is solely an inner call which comes from inside. The day when that on 5th February you had put a lecture given by Mataji about onion and garlic. Since that day I stopped eating that also. And that was just an inner call. None of anybody in my family stopped, but I stopped somehow. And one thing is, when we eat vegetarian, हमको बस टेंशन रहता है हम क्या खा रहे हैं. अब नॉनवेज खाने जाएंगे तो हमें टेंशन रहेगा हमने क्या खाया, फिर वो जिसको खाने जा रहे हैं उसने क्या क्या खाया होगा, तो टेंशन भी थोड़ा कम हो जाएगा if we turn vegetarian.
Correct.
Same here, Prabhuji. I was also a non-vegetarian. I come from a non-vegetarian background, but I stopped eating now. I have made my son also to stop eating. I said about few of the karma, all that. You could easily connect. At my home, I'm actually called a Brahmin now. So I and my son have completely stopped, Prabhuji. It is all as the Mataji said now. It should come, that instinct will come only by God's grace, by Krishna's grace.
Thank you very much, Manjula. Yes, like always, there is a God's grace, and we have to put little bit, we have to introspect a little bit, right? That is there in our plate, right? and that is the blood of somebody, that is the emotion of somebody. We are really taking and somebody's life for it.
Prabhuji, why we should not eat onion and garlic? Garlic is supposed to be a very good medicinal value. It has a lot of medicinal values and all. That is what even the doctors say. So why we should not consume onion and garlic? Of course, I don't like garlic. Just I'm asking. So why we should
Anybody
not?
remembers? Yeah, anybody remembers that class of our Kishori Mataji that she had presented, I think, a couple of months back?
I understood only one thing, that our Lord Krishna doesn't eat this and doesn't considers it good. So why should we devotees बाकी health benefits and all वो बाकी चीजों से भी derive कर लेंगे?
Yes, I also attended that class. I remember.
Yes, yes. Like we talked about so many reasons, but I think our Sushma Mataji really nailed the most important point. Most important point is really Krishna likes this one.
Krishna likes. If he doesn't like, we are not going
exactly.
to eat.
Right? We always say Anukulesa Sankalpa Pratikulesa Varjana. Yes, these are all the reasons that we give it to so many people, right? But as we are practicing Krishna consciousness, right? At least we are progressing in that direction, right? Like we are talking about, then yes, we do what really pleases Krishna. And that is the mood of Brajavasis. And even if it made them suffer, they do it what it pleases Krishna. And that's how, right, we'll be happy. We'll feel that bliss within. Thank you very much, Sushma. That is a brilliant answer.
Prabhuji, I would like to add one thing. I think one Mataji asked, how did you stop non-veg? I'll take my example, Prabhu. Like 1 year back, I was a pure non-vegetarian. I mean, before. What happened to me is, we are from Orissa. Every Sunday, we must have non-vegetarian. Like that, we had the culture. So I was having non-vegetarian, and then I was followed by that I was having Bhakti Vriksha. Then something happened, like I did not like that concept of having this in the daytime and Bhakti Vriksha in the end. Somehow in due course of time, I mean, something happened. I did not like having, and I mean, every Sunday I used to feel guilty after the Bhakti Vriksha that why this first thing happened in the daytime, that I was having this non-veg. Slowly and steadily I started getting rid of that. And because for me it was like Bhakti Vriksha is more important, and being conscious in Bhakti Vriksha is more important than having the non-veg. Then in that way I mean, it was like I tried to get a higher taste from whatever I'm getting from Bhakti Vriksha. So getting that higher taste slowly and steadily helped me in getting rid of the non-vegetarian food in due course of time, Prabhuji. So this identifying a higher taste is very important. Yeah, Prabhu,
Like
that's what I can say.
once we start honoring Krishna Prasadam, anything can come in between that. Nothing. Right? Once we start honoring Krishna Prasadam, we cannot compare anything else. It becomes so pale. Yes, Anand Prabhu wanted to say something.
No. I was just sharing that, when Karthikeya Prabhu's the second chapter, he often says that what's the secret to having a good sense control? It's developing a higher taste. So you have to engage to disengage from something else, right? So once you're firmly planted in Krishna, automatically things you automatically relinquish. He'll come in and he'll remove all the cobwebs in our heart. So yeah.
Thank you. Yes, Visaya Vinivartante Nirahasya. Rasavarjan Rasaprasa Param Drushta Anivartate. Yes, we have to develop a higher taste. Because we don't have the higher taste, we are attached to so many, like as you said, minuscule things. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. So hope it answered some of your some doubts or some misconceptions, that media and all the people around, they are trying to force upon us. But yes, Jaisa Arn, Vaisa Man. We are what we eat. So yes, if you want to make some change in our heart, we have to change in our food habits. What, unless we change our gross senses, right, like the way it operates, we cannot change our subtle senses. It has to start from somewhere. Thank you very much. I was really very happy, and thank you very much for stretching and really coming up with these wonderful answers. And it's always inspiring to hear, from all of you. Okay, any other closing comments from anyone before we wrap up?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to share my experience that around 15, 20, it was 20 years back, I was paralytic, and the doctor had told me that for 5 years you will not be able to walk. So my family said that, you start taking the goat soup, it will help. So I said, from the time I'm born, I've never taken any non-veg. If God wants to me be crippled, I'm okay with that, but I will not take non-veg. And by grace of God, by 2 months, I was able to walk. So it's His mercy and our determination, because anybody can serve you anything on the plate. But if it is something like prasadam, there is no comparison to it. Personal experience that after eating prasadam, there is no food poisoning.
Absolutely.
That is the glory of prasadam. Hare Krishna.
Like we hear, like a similar example of Prabhupada, when Abhay was a small boy, the doctor said, to get strength for Abhay, you need to give chicken soup, right? And somehow his father said, no, we are a Vaishnava family, we cannot do that, right? But then somehow he said, okay, just to take care of your son, right, his life, I'll prepare and I'll bring it. And then, he was offering it to Abhay, Prabhupada, when he was a small young boy. And as soon as it touched, Prabhupada started vomiting. Right, like how Prabhupada showed his examples that no, nothing else, right? Is completely, absorbed in the, testing the nectar of Krishna Adharamrita, Krishna Prasadam. If somebody is really attached to testing Krishna Prasadam, nothing else comes in between. So yes, we should develop a higher taste. We should start honoring Krishna Prasadam, and then everything else will follow. Thank you very much. I'm really grateful to all of you that yes, let's inspire each other like this, taking some this lifestyle changes so that it's good for us and good for the society as well. And yes, it is all possible with the mercy of Lord Narasimha Dev and with the mercy of our acharyas. Once we pray to them, and we'll get the strength to make those lifestyle changes within ourselves. Thank you very much. Yes, we have to make our own purification, right? It can come in a various ways. So thank you very much. So now let's proceed for Namaste Narasimha. Anybody is singing? Rupamai Mataji or Sarnath Prabhu, anybody is singing? Who would like to call out Lord Narasimha very quickly? If anybody has not sung so far, would like to take the lead.
Yes, Prabhuji, can I?
Yeah, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
I may make mistake. Please rectify me if needed.
Yes, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Prahlad Lad Daine. Prahlad Lad Daine. हिरण्यकाशीपूर्वक्षः हिरण्यकाशीपूर्वक्षः शिलाटङ्कानखालाय शिलाटङ्कानखालाय इतो नरसिंहा परतो नरसिंहा इतो नरसिंहा परतो नरसिंहा यत्तो यत्तो यामि तत्तो नरसिंहा बहिर्नरसिंहो हृदये नरसिंहो बहिर्नरसिंहो हृदये नरसिंहो नरसिंहादिं चरणं प्रपद्ये नरसिंहादिं चरणं प्रपद्ये तव करकमलवरे नखो अद्भुत श्रृंगाम दलिता हिरण्यकशिपु तनुभृङ्गा केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे ओम नरसिंहदेव श्री नरसिंहदेव श्री नरसिंहदेव श्री नरसिंहदेव जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज हरे कृष्ण
Thank you very much, Mataji. That was really melodious and prayerful. Yes, Narsimha Chaturdasi is coming next Sunday. I would request all of you, right, to take shelter of Lord Narsimha, not only on the day, but every day, every moment, by singing this prayer. And also we can remember also the other prayers as Ugram Veera Mahavishwam Jalantam Sarvatam, all that Sri Narsimha, Jai Narsimha, Jai Jai Narsimha, these prayers, and or the two other prayers we chanted, two other verses we chanted. Yes, we should make ourselves purified now with this sound vibrations and always absorbed in the shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Narasimha, following the footsteps of Prahlad Maharaj. Thank you very much. And once again, I'd really like to thank all of you for your patience and for your energy. Hare Krishna.